Good morning.
Good morning.
And greetings. I bring you greetings from the church in Sabah, Malaysia, from the seminary in our city of Kota Kinabalu, from the ELCA church-wide offices in Chicago, and of course we, the Trozzo family, are so glad to be here in our home congregation again. It's wonderful to be here with you. We also thank you for your support so that we can bring your greetings to our brothers and sisters, our fellow disciples in Malaysia. Malaysia is an amazing place. It has always been a crossroads from ancient trade routes up until today. And today Malaysia is a crossroads of modern and traditional, oftentimes side by side, of urban jungle and pristine wilderness. Shortly before we came to the States for this, our home assignment, I took off a day off from the hubbub of packing and figuring things out to go on a trail run. Now, a couple months before that, I'd never even heard of a trail run. But once I was invited, it seemed like another amazing adventure I could go on. Do you want to go see what happens? Excellent. So, I went on this trail run, and what I discovered as I slogged through the jungle for what turned out to be 6 hours was how much trail running is like the life of a missionary. I had a lot of time to think on this run. Well, let me tell you, and the first thing is training. This was a 15-kilometer trail run, about 9 miles. And I had been running only 10-kilometer tracks and races. So I knew that I needed to prepare more to train harder. But I had no idea what I was preparing for. I had never seen the trail we'd be running. I'd never even run on a wooded course. I had no idea what equipment to bring, how best to carry water, how much water I would need, or how to avoid the leeches that are so common there. Yay! I knew that preparation and training were going to be essential, but I had no idea how to prepare. And that was a lot like us moving to Malaysia. We had no idea how to prepare, hardly even what to pack. The American Lutheran Church hadn't sent missionaries there since 1964. So all we could do was pack our bags, get on a plane, and trust God that it would be enough. And for you, you are missionaries as well. A missionary is a person who is on a mission to share God's love with the people they meet in the culture of those people. We're all missionaries, and we are training ourselves and preparing to serve God, even if we don't know what that will look like. So you are running your trail race here in Summit. Now in Malaysia, all races start at or before dawn, because by 8 a.m. in the equatorial heat, it's pretty steamy. So for this run, 45 runners gathered in the dark, and I knew only one other person there. But here's the trick. In Malaysia, people speak anywhere from 1 to 8 languages. And when greeting someone, you have to guess which language to speak. Whether it's Bahasa Malaysia, Mandarin, English, dialects of Chinese, tribal tongues, there's a wide mix. And that's true of ministry in Malaysia as well. Language really matters. People will respond so much better to you if you can speak even a few words of their native tongue. But it's always a guess, even how to say hello. And in the case of the trail run, it was a guess in the pre-dawn dark. So you as missionaries may not know which language to use. Is it the language of church or street that will speak to people? The language of TV or technology or scripture? Maybe what language literally? Spanish or Korean or Swahili? You want to greet people and have them trust you, but you may not know exactly how. So you give it your best guess. That's missionary living. So finally, as the sun came up in Malaysia, we started running. The first 20 minutes went straight uphill, a 40% grade. It was sort of stressful for my body, my breathing, and my courage, but it was also exciting. There we were, all surging forward together. And then, after those first 20 minutes, the runners spread out. We left the beautiful forest to run for a while on logging roads, where the rainforest has been just torn down to make way for corporate palm oil plantations. And suddenly I realized that I was alone in a devastated landscape with no trail markers in sight and starting to feel the stress in my body and my spirit. I told myself, it's fine, I'll see someone soon. But I ran on for another 45 minutes with no one in sight. It was a hard time because I wanted to feel that joy and excitement. But if I was honest with myself, what I was really feeling was alone. And that's part of missionary living too. But on the trail, I knew that at any moment I could come around a corner and see another runner, or more likely, someone would pass me from behind. You know, my mind knew all of that. But when we're lonely, the heart is not so easily convinced. But I had two choices, run or turn back. And they say that running is the mental exercise of putting one foot in front of the other. So that's what I did. I took the next step, uphill, for 3 hours. And you as missionaries, you are also taking things step by step. At first, some steps are easy, but it's not promised to last like that. You may find like you feel yourself on logging roads, wondering where the group is, not sure if you're on the correct path, feeling lonely or stressed. Maybe it feels like you're doing more inward meetings than outward mission. Or maybe people aren't responding to the good news you share in the way you hoped they would. Maybe the path is unclear. That's what a trail run is like. That's missionary living. Don't give up. The trail run I was doing was supposed to be 2 or 3 hours up and then 1 or 2 hours back down. But I had no idea of my pace, how far I had come, how much water I should be drinking along the way, because once I ran out, there was no more. And I began to consider turning back. I had convinced myself to stop. That was when I saw one of my favorite plants, a bromeliad. It's a green, heart-shaped leaf with this spreading purple center. And this one was a young plant, and it had a brand new, perfect purple-white blossom on it. It was right in the center of the trail. No one else had trodden on it. And I felt a moment of peace. Here was this beauty that I had almost missed. And for me, I suddenly felt like I wasn't alone. God had created that plant. All those other runners had stepped around it. The roots of a tree were holding it and protecting it. And at that moment, I felt this peace, that it was okay if I wanted to run on or turn back. The results weren't as important as understanding that I wasn't alone.